Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Actually It's a Mirror, where I talk news, celebrity gossip, hot topics, even these YouTube streets every once in a while. If you name it, I'm going to talk about it. But please be reminded that everything I say here on this channel is allegedly in just my opinion because I do not know these people. That's right, I don't know these people. I'm just here to give you my perspective on what I think is going on. But before I get into the tea of Rob Kardashian's most recent testimony, let me take a sip of water. Ooh, was that refreshing? Lord knows I need that sip of water. Man, oh man, oh man. Can you guys believe that Rob Kardashian took the stand and gave what I would describe as the most incredulous testimony one has ever heard in the history of testimony? He got on that stand. He got on that stand and tried to make himself out to be the victim. Yes, he did. He got on that stand and tried to say that Black China was a predator who preyed on a weak man who was just recovering from the hospital, who was a diabetic, who couldn't think, didn't know two ways from Sunday, who was incapable and incapacitated from any free thought. That is what he got on the stand to say. And I want to go ahead and I want to break down just how ridiculous that testimony was. And I want to ask, I can't wait. Like, I know Linciani already did her cross and we're only getting bits and pieces. But I'm hoping that Linciani really dug into his behind some of the crazy things he said. So first things first, Rob Kardashian, if you were so incapacitated, if you were so depressed, if you were so down, how did you successfully negotiate the production of your sock company, Arthur George? Were you devastated and depressed in a hospital and couldn't think and in the lowest point of your life when you was excuse me, when you were creating a sock line? Were you? Were you? Were you in the lowest, most devastating point in your life when you begged Black China to give you a child? You begged her to have Dream Kardashian. You told her the moment you met her and y'all started slapping them things, you said, I want you to be the mother of my child. And you begged her for a baby. I vividly remember Black China going on a Wendy Williams show. Vividly remember her going on the Wendy Williams show, you guys, sitting on Wendy's couch and having a full-on interview with Wendy Williams. And Wendy Williams said, come on, Black China, be real with me. Are you with him for the money? And Black China said, absolutely not. I love Rob. We ended up hitting it off. He was hitting me up. I was in LA. She was ghosting this dude. She wanted nothing to do with him. I saw the interview. Yo, Linciani, you need to make Rob account for this testimony. I hope they got some good discovery on their team. But Black China went on a Wendy Williams show back when she was with Rob. I watched the whole interview. She sat there and she said, I was in LA, minding my business. No, not LA. I'm sorry. She was in she wasn't in LA. She was on a trip. I can't recall what she might have been in New York, but she was on a trip, minding her good Black China business. And Rob Kardashian kept hitting her up. He kept calling her phone like, yo, when you get back in town, please link up with me. Please link up with me. I want to kick it with you. I want to kick it with you. And she was like ignoring him. She was like, I just was like, I'm not really on it like that. Like, she thought it was a setup. In my opinion, I felt like Black China thought it was a setup initially and was like, nah, I'm going to fall back on this. I'm going to fall back on this relationship. She was ghosting him. He kept hitting her up, kept blowing her phone up, kept DMing her, kept hitting her up. Finally, she was like, all right, when I get back in town, I'm going to check you. When I get back to LA, we going to kick it. She gets back to LA. She doesn't call Rob Kardashian for a week. He's still hitting her up like, yo, I thought when you came back to LA, you was going to check me. Like, what's going on right now? Like, what's good? So she was like, you know what? He finally broke me down. So I hit him back up like, all right, cool, let's kick it. And she said they ended up kicking it that one time. They had an amazing time and they was together ever since. That is the story. And that is public record on the Wendy Williams show when she gave that interview about how they met. Rob Kardashian, you chased this girl down, baby boy. You chased her down. And then when you got with her and you saw how that thing was thanging, you was like, I got to put a baby in her. You begged her to have Dream Kardashian, which she gave testimony to. You begged her to have Dream Kardashian. She was having a hot girl life. And then you propose to her. And now you want to sit here and say you was coming out of the hospital. You was in the worst place of your life. Blah, blah. Oh, were you depressed, devastated, and destitute and emotionally damaged when you was posting, when you was hacking into her Instagram accounts, when you was posting her nudes all over the internet? You was in an emotional space then too? Get out of here, Rob Kardashian. You are making up all kinds of stuff. And the fact that he's really sitting there trying to victimize himself the same way the family is trying to victimize themselves when they are the assailants is the most crazy gaslighting situation I've ever seen in my life. And if I was in the jury box, I would be infuriated. I would be infuriated by their attempts to gaslight me. Like literally, this girl was minding her good Black China business with her baby, with her fiance, a Tiger, and her son King living across the street from them, minding her good Black China business. She was not poor. They did not pick. Yo, he acting like he picked Black China up from the quote what Chris called ghetto. You didn't pick Black China up from the ghetto. Black China had a Instagram presence. She was a it girl on the influencer scene. Black China had a Rob Kardashian was a nobody. So please explain to me why Black China, who was the juice at the time, who had the clout at the time, is going to exhaust all the options she got him in the date to go sprinkling down the bottom of the totem pole to pick you up out of the hospital, to pick you up out of Hollywood Hills Hospital. She went past, she bypassed all of that just to pick you up, Mr. 265 pounds, standing on the scale in season 1 of Rob and Chyna. Mr. 265 pounds who can't even see his little weenie beneath his belly. You mean to tell me that Black China, who was popping, just literally preyed on you like a predator? And I'm not trying to fat shame Rob Kardashian, but it infuriates me the way that they're really trying to make it seem like Black China is a predator here and that she's the problem, as if he is not a willing participant in the relationship that he got himself into. And that's why I'm infuriated, because it's not cool, it's not fair. Like you can't have it both ways, Rob Kardashian. You can't be a star and come from a powerful family and say that you are the clout and that she was preying on you, but then at the same time want to be the victim. Then at the same time want to accuse her of cheating on you. If she was preying on you this whole time and she was trying to secure a bag and secure a future, why would she be cheating on you? Why would she self-sabotage her own alleged lucrative future if she was just trying to play you crazy? The math don't math. The math don't math. Nobody was checking for Rob Kardashian. You was stalking her. You was hitting her phone up. If I was Black China, I would have literally had my phone records subpoenaed. They supposed to keep phone records for 7 years. What is it? 2016, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. They got them phone records, Black China, at Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, Boost, whoever your phone provider is. They're supposed to keep your phone records for 7 years, just for situations like this, in case a mother need to get subpoenaed by the FBI for some nonsense. They got your phone records. They supposed to keep them joints for 7 years. You need to hit up Verizon, Boost, T-Mobile, Sprint, whoever your provider is, and you need to see if you could get a subpoena for your phone records dating back to 2016, when you and Rob first started kicking it. And see if you can get those phone records to show those with some incoming calls and some incoming texts, not outgoing. Not outgoing. It's the blatant lies for me. And then he gets on the stand. And then he gets on the stand, you guys, infuriates the situation even further by saying that not only during the December, and now the dates are confused, was the fight on December 14th or December 15th? Because Rob Kardashian testified that the fight was on December 14th. But Corey Gamble testified that it was on December 15th. Which day was it? Which day was it? Which day was the fight? Because December the 15th was a Thursday. December the 14th would have been a Wednesday. So please advise, what party were they at on a Wednesday in Hollywood Hills, California, or Calabasas, or Malibu with a freaking 3.5-week-old baby at home, 4 weeks on the outside? Black China was breastfeeding. Rob Kardashian got on the stand and gave testimony that not only was Blac Chyna drinking alcohol, Blac Chyna was sniffing on some cocaine. He literally got on the stand and said she was doing cocaine and drinking alcohol right before the fight. So you mean to tell me that your baby mama, who is breastfeeding your infant daughter, is getting loose on cocaine and you didn't call the cops, you didn't call CPS, you're not concerned about the welfare of your daughter when she popping that booby into that baby mouth after she done binged on cocaine? Are you for real? Cocaine is stay in your hair and your hair follicles, I think, for like 90 days or up to a year or something like that. Because you know I don't do drugs, but the way that the drug test system work, that mess stay in your hair follicles for like a year or something like that. If you thought if Black Chyna was on that cocaine, which is honestly the most flagrant accusation, and thank you for the super chat. If Black Chyna, I'm gonna read your super chat in 1 second. Let me get this thought out. If Black Chyna was on that cocaine, like you say she was on that cocaine, and you wanted to really, you didn't call the cops. You didn't have her drug tested to get full custody of your child, so you don't have to pay no kind of child support. And I know you don't really pay child support for real, for real. You just pay for the little girl's school. You wanted full custody? Full custody was handed to you right there on the silver platter. You go to a judge and you say that my baby mama on that cocaine, and they go pull a hair follicle straight from the head, and it come back positive, and you got an infant baby in the house. So y'all normalize. So let's talk about it, Rob. Let's talk about it, Kris Jenner. Let's talk about it, Corey Gamble. Is it normalized in the Kardashian Jenner household to do a little cocaine, to drink a little alcohol, and breastfeed babies? Is that how all y'all getting down? Because nobody thought to call the cops? Nobody thought to call the cops? Nobody said, wait a second, Dream Kardashian might suffer from an overdose. You can literally kill a baby. That is attempted murder. I'm sorry. They literally, this dude got on the stand and accused Blac Chyna of attempted murder. If I was Lenciani, my next line of questioning would have been, there's photographic evidence on Instagram that Blac Chyna was a breastfeeding mother. Like, you can literally Google search these images. Here's Blac Chyna breastfeeding. She posted it on her Instagram. She posted it on her Snapchat. All right. So was Blac Chyna breastfeeding Dream Kardashian? Yes, you can get this from medical records, because you guys know when you go to your 6-week doctor's appointment, if you ever had a baby, when you go to your 6-week doctor's appointment, what is the first question they ask you? Is this baby breastfed or formula fed? They ask you that question at your 6-week appointment. So that is a matter of medical record. Medical record. If I'm Lenciani, I'm going to Blac Chyna's pediatrician for Dream Kardashian. Let's subpoena those birth records from her 6-week appointment. Did Blac Chyna cite herself as a breastfeeding mother? I would willing to bet my last dollar she did, because she was breastfeeding that little girl on Instagram. It is a matter of public record. So let's talk about it, Rob. You mean to tell me that you endangered the welfare of a minor? You conspired to endanger the welfare of a minor? You was in the house. Your Blac Chyna was breastfeeding. You saw her doing that cocaine. You saw her drinking. You mean to tell me you conspired with Blac Chyna to endanger the welfare of a minor? That's what you are admitting on this stand right now? That's what you're admitting? Is that what we're doing? Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're admitting in open court? Is that what you're admitting in open court? Let's do this. Yo, I wish I was on Blac Chyna team. Let's do this. Let's play these games. You want to play? You want to rumble in the jungle? Let's rumble. Let's rumble, Rob. Let's do it. Are you admitting in open court that you conspired with your fiance at the time to endanger the welfare of a minor? Is that what you're admitting in court? Conspiracy doing that. She was breastfeeding. You saw her breastfeed your baby, but she was doing coke and alcohol all the time. He literally said she was doing coke and alcohol all the time. He said that in open court. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So you mean to tell me she got a C-section? And which, if she got a C-section, she absolutely was prescribed opioids to treat the pain, 100%. So you mean to tell me that Blac Chyna, who suffered from a cesarean section, who was absolutely prescribed either Vicodin or Percocet to deal with the pain, there's no way they sent her home without it? I don't know what kind of woman you'd have to be to get cut through 7 layers of skin, get sick, and have to heal from a C-section. That at a bare minimum, a C-section, the employers give you 8 weeks to heal from a C-section. If this your second C-section, you've been cut back through them same scars you've been cut through. That mean that cut deep. They done took her organs out and put them back in. The C-section is crazy. So you mean to tell me bare minimum 4 weeks out of C-section, there's a likelihood that Blac Chyna might have still been taking Percocet, because Percocet, you could take it. I think you could take Percocet and still breastfeed. Yes, you can, because Percocet, the way it distributes through the system, because Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because when I had a pelvic separation, I'm a breastfeeding mother, and my pelvis separated when I had my second son, and they prescribed me Percocet, and I was still breastfeeding. So yes, you can take Percocet when you breastfeeding. So I'm gonna go on air on the side that they prescribed Black Chyna Percocet. So you mean to tell me that Black Chyna, who suffered a C-section, was taking Percocet or Tylenol number 3? Maybe it was Tylenol number 3, not Percocet. It might have been Tylenol number 3. Whatever. You mean to tell me that you are taking a prescription drug, which for your C-section scar, you are also allegedly doing coke. So now you're doing an upper and a lower, and now you're drinking alcohol, and you ain't OD. Get out of here. I don't buy it one bit. It's the exaggerated testimony for me. And then he wants to go on and say that Black Chyna beat him with a metal rod. Hold on, let me read this super chat. She said, Cookie 20171 says, the sad part is the judge is corrupt, and the corrupt Kardashians have already paid him off. She needs to have a mistrial. I've been said in my last live. Yes, I said in my last live that Linciani needed to hire a jury that specializes in, a specialist that specializes in boudoir, which is jury selection, and a body language expert sit inside the courtroom and examine the body language and the emotional response of the jury to see if she has that jury in her favor. Linciani should have moved to mistrial the day after Michael Rose did that porn situation when he played Black Chyna's photos. He showed them, and the court allegedly saw them. The next day, she should have had a body language expert come in to weigh in on that jury to see where she was going. And then the next day, she should have motioned for a mistrial because she had the ace in the hole, and she need not fumble it. But I am not above believing that people were paid off. I'm not above believing it at all. Kardashians have proven in open court. I don't care what kind of short-term memory loss Kim Kardashian want to claim she has. I'm not with none of it. You're not about to play in my face like this if I'm Linciani. I would be infuriated. No, y'all have already been acknowledged in open court as staging a coup against people. Y'all have a history of staging a coup. Kim wrote and said it's us robbing Chyna. Khloe wrote and said the same thing. Kylie wrote and said pretty much the same thing. Y'all staged a coup. So I'm not above believing that they paid the judge off. Now, it would be complete. I'm not above believing it. Did it happen? I don't know. I don't have no proof. But am I above believing that? I also said I'm not above believing that Linciani might throw this case, because no matter if she wins or loses this case, Linciani will go on to be a legend. Somebody who took on the Kardashians in court, sued them for $140 million. No matter the outcome, Linciani still prosecuted the Kardashians in open court. Period. She's still the woman who came to save poor Black Chyna. Win, lose, or draw, Linciani's going to walk away with a favorable public opinion for the most part, unless she does something completely egregious to destroy Black Chyna's case. She's going to walk away somewhat a hero for having the confidence to do it in the first place. But Black Chyna is the only one who's going to walk away from this situation piss poor with nothing. She will be blackballed after this. I don't see how she survives it. This is Blac Chyna's moment. This is her opportunity. And I think Linciani and her team has got to press these people on the important facts of the case. Do not get in this courtroom and disrespect the court of law by perjuring yourself and by giving incredulous testimony. That is inconceivable. No woman in her right state of mind is doing cocaine, breastfeeding, and taking photos of it. And Rob Kardashian, who has a history of exploiting and exposing Blac Chyna at every turn of their relationship. This guy was on Snapchat rants. This guy was on Instagram rants. This guy was posting her nudes all over the internet. This is your pattern of behavior, Rob Kardashian. This is your pattern of behavior. So you mean to tell me you had a smoking gun? You had proof that Blac Chyna was doing cocaine, and you didn't expose her as the trifling, disgusting mother she would have been if it were true? You fumbled that creme de la creme opportunity to get full custody of your daughter after going through a custody battle? You mean to tell me that you went through a custody battle with this girl? A custody battle, and you had smoking gun evidence that could have made you get full custody on site. I'm talking on site. You walk into any courtroom and you tell a judge that I got legit proof of somebody doing cocaine and breastfeeding my baby and drinking alcohol And there's no judge in America who's going to side with a woman who's voluntarily endangering the welfare of her child, potentially attempted murder. Because if you breastfeed a newborn and you are intoxicated with drugs and those drugs pass on to the newborn and that something happens to that baby and you walk into the hospital, you will be going under the federal jail. You are under the jail. No coming back. That's attempted murder. That's reckless endangerment. That's a whole host of crimes. And you mean to tell me, Rob, you had an ace in the hole and fumbled it? I feel like Linciani really needed to drill down on that. Like, she really needed to drill down on that. Because that, to me, is the most ridiculous testimony. And then he goes on to say that she beat him with a metal rod. She beat him with a metal rod, but he had no bruises. When he said that, I said, wait a second. She beat you with a metal rod. We're not talking about, oh, she hit you with I've been hit with less by my kid, not myself, not by my husband. I've been hit with less by my kids. I had my son throw a Hot Wheel at me the other day. A Hot Wheel, a 99-cent Hot Wheel. He threw it. He didn't throw it at me to hurt me, but he threw it and it accidentally hit me. And I said, oh my God, you hit me with this Hot Wheel. And I had a scratch on my arm from a goddamn 99-cent Hot Wheel. And you mean to tell me that Black Chyna took a metal rod and beat you? She beat you with a metal rod. I mean, just beat you. And there's not a scar in sight. There's not a scar in sight. I mean, honestly, I would have made Rob Kardashian embarrass himself on that stand. I would have literally, if I was Linciani, I would have walked in with a metal rod. I swear to you, I would have walked in with a metal rod. I would have said, Rob Kardashian, would you do us the kindness of demonstrating for the court exactly how she struck you with this metal rod? Like, I have a dummy here. This is you. You be Black Chyna. Let's role play. Demonstrate for the court exactly how many times she hit you with the rod, exactly where she hit you with the rod, the force she used to hit you with the rod, and I would have made him embarrass himself in that court. Because you pick up I would have said, well, how big was the rod? It was 6.5, 7-inch rod, a foot long. Okay, how wide was it? The diameter? Oh, it was about 3-inch diameter. 6-inch rod. Oh, was it made of steel? Was it made of iron? Was it made of aluminum? Like, let's really dig into the details. What was it made of? Now once you give me all the details, I'm gonna bring a replica. And now you're gonna demonstrate to the court how your 265-pound ass got beat up by a woman who was healing from a cesarean section, doppled over, healing from a cesarean section, how she beat you within an inch of your life with a metal rod. And that you had to call your mama. It's the damsel in distress for me. I've never seen a grown-ass man, and pardon my French, but I've never seen a grown-ass man want to be a damsel in distress so damn bad. You really gonna call your mom, mommy, mommy, Chyna trying to beat me. What you think, you Tina Turner now? I can't with him. He tried to pull a Tina and trying to make Black Chyna seem like she ain't. I can't believe it. And that to me is an offense to real victims of domestic violence, real people who are being beat on by their significant others, real victims. That's offensive for you to get in the court and say that she beat you up, but yet you testify in deposition that you dropped the assault charges. You know why you dropped them, Rob? You didn't drop them because you was in the best interest of your daughter. No, you dropped them because there was no evidence. And at the end of the day, if there's no evidence, it didn't happen. It never happened. It never happened. Your sisters have been plotting to take this girl down from the first day to Sunday. They've been plotting, and it's documented by the nonsense they sent to E. They've been plotting. So if you walked into that house and you had bruise, Kim testifies, I don't know, he came in and he was really red and really puffy. He was red and puffy because he was crying because Black Chyna left him. Rob if you watch my live from yesterday, you will see that I showed the proof that Rob Kardashian went and did an interview soon before Christmas, in which he said that he was devastated because Black Chyna left him. She took Dream, she took King, she took the nursery shit, and she said, I'm out, I'm leaving you. That's why you was red and puffy, Rob. You was red and puffy because Black Chyna said, I'm not being with your abusive ass anymore. Allegedly. Because I'm not, Black Chyna is not saying that you beat on her. But if she's the assailant, why is she fleeing the scene like the victim? She left you. So you went home crying to your sisters. And if you walked in that house with bruises and scratches and bumps and this, you mean to tell me that your sisters wouldn't have took no photos just in case? Like, we might not, I could even buy that. They could say, oh, we wasn't going to expose her, or we wasn't going to put it out there like that. I could buy that. But what I will not buy is that they didn't take some pictures just in case. Like, hey, we need this as our ace in the hole in case some shit pop off. We got your back, bro, because we got photos of when she beat you to the inch of your life. Get out of here. Get out of here. And if I'm in a jury box, after I made him demonstrate the abuse, I would have made him do it. The fact that Lenciani didn't make him do it blows me. It blows me to smithereens. Because you're gonna have to go the distance if you want to play on my intelligence in the court. You're gonna go the distance. So after he demonstrated this vicious attack, I would have said, well, here you are in the video. Here you are in the video, and there's nothing. Not a scratch, not a hair out of place. As a matter of fact, look like you and Chyna are having a great time in the club with these strippers. Y'all partying like it's 1997. Explain, buddy. Explain the details. Because I want to know. He goes, oh, I was there against my will. He literally said he was there against his will when he showed a video of himself having fun. Oh, I was there against my will. She begged me to go. I have social anxiety. I would never go. She forced me. Damn. It's a lot of forcing happening for a grown man. It's a lot of forcing happening. Did she force you? And then if I'm Lenciani, this is how I'm going to kick the next question. As soon as he would have said, she forced me to go. I didn't want to go. She forced me. I would have said, oh, did she force you the same way your mother and sisters and your mothers and your sisters are forcing you to give this testimony today? Because Rob Kardashian, it seems like you're admitting to the court that you have an inability to think for yourself. If you want to go down that road, if that's the road you want to walk down, is it ridiculous to believe that you are currently being forced to do something against your will? Because apparently you allow women to make you do things against your will. Are you in a vulnerable state now, Rob? Have you got your diabetes treated? Are you currently taking insulin? Because I just want to make sure that the situation is what it was when it was back then. You said it was your diabetes who made you do it. Are you still a diabetic? Because apparently metformin and insulin seems to cloud your judgment. So are you currently on metformin or insulin? Are you under influence of a powerful woman? Because you said you fall prey to the whims of powerful women, aka Black Chyna. Which powerful women do you fall prey to the influence of? Is it certain ones? Is it women who like money? Is it women who like nice cars? Is it women who like jewelry? I mean, what kind of women do you fall prey to exactly? Because it kind of sounds like if it's women who have power, influence, and money, that sounds a lot like your sisters. Sounds a lot like them. So are you in danger now, Rob? Are you here under your own free will? Are you giving testimony that you believe in? Let's talk about it. I want the details. And then he goes on to say that he never wanted to get married. He's here. Black Chyna used him. All of this stuff. Oh, let's talk about that letter he wrote. He apparently Rob Kardashian wrote a letter to his sisters, but to me is a smoking gun for Black Chyna. And if I'm Lenciani, I'm on his back about it. I'm on your back about this letter. You wrote a letter, not to the E Network. Notice the letter was not written to E Network. That letter didn't say, "Dear E, please let Rob and Chyna continue. We love each other. We're willing to go to therapy, blah, 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 ABC, XYZ, DEF. No, he wrote a letter to his mama. His mama. You know why? Because his mama's in control of whether or not the show goes on. Dear mama, dear sister Kim, and dear sister Chloe, please, for the sake and love of Jesus, let us do this show. Please help us. Please let us do this. You wrote a letter to your mama, but yet you want to get in this court and y'all want to say that Kim, Chloe, and Chloe, and Chris have no power over the E Network. Why did Rob Kardashian, who has firsthand knowledge over the power his family has, feel compelled to write a letter to his flesh and blood regarding the status of his show and not his employer? Why? Why did he do that? Why did he do that? And that to me is the question. If I'm Linciani, I'm asking Rob that question. You could have wrote a letter to anybody. You could have wrote it to Jeff. You could have wrote it to Ryan Seacrest. You could have wrote it to anybody at E. You wrote it to your mama. Why? What motivated that letter? And then when he go ahead and say it was Chyna, Chyna told me to write a letter to my mom, and well, Chyna made me write it, because that's what he would have said. I would have said, well, why did Chyna feel, in your opinion, that she needed to get permission from your family for the continuance of her show? Why? What did she say to you in that moment? Why? And if you sincerely believed that your family had no power to make the decision, why didn't you say to Blac Chyna, unfortunately, Chyna, this letter is useless. I'm not writing it because it's not going to help us. They don't have no power over there at E. Why didn't you say that to her? Why didn't you say that to her? Make it make sense for me. It's not even about his responses. That's what I want. To me, it's not about what Rob Kardashian says. It's about the questions Linciani asks. Because no matter what he says, the people think from questions, not from answers. Questions encourage and provoke thought. If I'm an attorney, sometimes the question you ask is more important than the fucking answer you get. Period. Ask the right questions. I'm asking you. Why didn't you tell Chyna this letter is irrelevant? I'm not sending this letter because it's ridiculous. They can't help us. Why didn't you? It's the lies for me. Y'all wrote that letter, and it didn't. Chris gonna say, "Oh well, Rob did send me the letter, but I don't think he wrote it." Well, were you there when he penned it, Chris? Were you there? Did you physically see Chyna write this letter? No. So on what basis are you saying he didn't write this letter? Oh, he didn't write this letter because he's my son and I know how my son talks. That's what she said. I know how my son talks and these aren't his words. Okay. Do you have a record of letters your son has written you over the last 10 years, last 5 years, last 2 years? I would like to call for discovery on those letters. Since your son is a pen pal, right? Since you know how he writes, you have documented evidence of how your son writes over the last 10 years. He's a pen pal. You two are pen pals. Can we see the discovery? Can we see the letters that your son has written you over the last year or two so we can do a comparison? Because I like to know. I like to know if he writes like this. Like, do you have active letters, or is he a pen pal? Because how are you going to say that the way that someone speaks is not necessarily the way that they write? That's not necessarily. You can't say, oh, because I talk to him all the time. No, because somebody might talk with their friends. They might talk in a slang, in a dialect. But if they go to college and they got to write an essay, they're going to talk the way you're supposed to talk in college. It's called writing how you need to write. It's called writing because you know that at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, this might become a matter of public record. This might become a matter of testimony. So you're going to talk. You're going to express yourself in a manner that makes sense. And if you, Kris Jenner, has called Blac Chyna, quote, ghetto, and quote, ghetto, you called her ghetto, do you think Blac Chyna was capable of coming up with such words, such compelling words with her ghetto behavior? I want to know. But anywho, let's talk about the lawyer. Let's talk about Blac Chyna's attorney and the role that he plays in this whole situation. So Blac Chyna's attorney gets on the stand. I feel like he could be his own live. Maybe I'll do another live about Blac Chyna's attorney. Actually, that's what I will do, because I feel like he's his own. He needs his own live. I don't want people don't listen to the lives all the way through, and I don't want people to miss the message. So I'm gonna go live again later. Maybe what time is it? I don't have time right now, but I'm gonna go live again probably sometime this afternoon, and I'm gonna talk about my opinion on Blac Chyna's attorney, his testimony, and how I think it helps or hurts Blac Chyna's case. We will get into all the details of that testimony this afternoon. I can't give you guys a time because I'm very busy, so I have to go live spontaneously when I find a time. But look for me this afternoon sometime, and I will be going live to talk about the testimony of Blac Chyna's attorney and how I think it influences the case. But please be reminded that everything I say here is allegedly and just my opinion. Let me get that off my chest. But secondly, I think that I hope and pray that the jury is not falling for this nonsense. To me, if I'm in the jury box, and I know as a Black woman, maybe, who comes from regular beginnings, I'm not affluent or anything like that, and I didn't grow up with money, and I don't know who they got in the jury box. I know that it's an all-white jury, but we don't know their economic status. Everybody might come from all different walks of life. So we don't know, but I'm hoping that there are people in that jury box who can see through the nonsense that they are being fed, who can really see that this one girl who is quote unquote ghetto, in the words of Kris Jenner, who quote unquote doesn't really come from much. How can she possibly be such a vicious threat to all of these powerful people who are sitting before us? I hope there's somebody in the jury box that says, I get this girl might have been a little wild and crazy, but honestly, she's no more wild and crazy than the Kardashians have been over the last 14 seasons. And I get that, she probably said some mean things and they probably had a tumultuous relationship. But at the end of the day, if I'm a reality show, that's the kind of shit I want to sell. Has anybody seen Love and Hip Hop? Anybody seen Love and Marriage Boot Camp? Anybody seen Real Housewives of anyone? Potomac, Hollywood, Atlanta, Beverly Hills? I mean, if you've seen any of these shows, that is the foundation of reality TV. That's actually the plot line of almost every reality show that has ever hit the airwaves. Drama and fighting and cursing each other out. That's the Kardashians plot line. So to me, if I'm in the jury box, all testimony about fights and cat fighting and nonsense, that's, to me, is just emotional testimony that I'm throwing out and I'm calling hearsay, exaggerated, and just doesn't make sense. I'm going to boil my decision making down to the hard facts of the case. And the hard facts of the case is that they sent those emails to E. They staged the coup. And Rob Kardashian corroborated the coup when he sent that email to his mama, or that letter, and begged her to let their show continue. That, to me, that is the ribbon on the gift. You wrapped this case up for Blac Chyna when you sent that letter. Because I'm focused on the facts. I'm not focused on this emotional, chaotic nonsense, because that's the show. The show is designed for that. And then they want to talk about, no, the show is designed for a love story. We was trying to produce a love story. Well, that's some bullshit, BSHIT E Network, because the B-roll for Rob and Chyna for every episode this season on Rob and Chyna, it was nothing but drum. The opening scene, Robert, she was screaming in the car. Y'all remember that scene when Blac Chyna had the phone? That was the B-roll for the show. Rob! She threw her phone out the window. That was the B-roll. You never once thought you were filming a love show. You were filming a show about drama between two people. That's what you were filming. You knew you were filming that when you signed on the dotted line, because that's exactly what the B-roll was. So cut me with the bullshit. E Network, you can't play with somebody else. Don't play with me. Because Jeff Jenkins would have had to account for that, understand, if I was listening on it. Well, look, I'm looking at the B-roll for the show, the promo. Nothing about this suggests that you thought you was filming a love story. And after the show was in production, let's talk about that real quick. You knew that was the premise of the show. And while in production, you greenlit a season 2 and issued a contract to do season 2. Yes, you asked for an extension on that contract, which we're going to talk about in my next slide. But you produced the initial contract for season 2, which means you were thrilled. You were thrilled about the performance of season 1. And if you go on Stan Jeff Jenkins and hit the audience with some BS, I'm getting into my second live. But I'm gonna say this real quick before I get into it later on this afternoon. But if you go on Stan Jeff Jenkins, if you go on the stand and you say to me that no, is it a standard practice to give everybody a second season show? Is that a standard of practice for the E Network? And if so, produce the contract dated back to 2017 for Life of Kylie, which got canceled after season 1. Produce the contract that says you was going to greenlight season 2, but you let that contract lapse. Produce it. Produce the evidence. If this is a standard of practice for the E Network, if this is standard of practice for you to give everybody a season 2, if everyone gets that option, and this was not an extenuating circumstance, prove it. Show the contracts to flip it like Disick, canceled after season 1. Show the contract for Life of Kylie canceled after season 1. Show it. Prove that they had options too. You can't. You can't prove it. You know why? Because you were going to extend Rob and Chyna. The Kardashians got pissed and said hell to the effing no. You begged for an extension with the lawyer and said, listen, we're going to try to wear them down and convince them that this is good for business. And they refused to. They refused to change their minds. That's what really happened. But let's talk about it later on this afternoon. Thank you to everybody who stopped in the live. Thank you to everybody for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat and for sharing your opinions in the chat. I'm gonna go through a few of the comments while I got 10 minutes, and I may respond to a few that really stand out to me. Rob is probably about to jump over the cliff. He knows trying to help him more than Andy during this time. His family probably threatened him that they will pull out the family will if he don't lie. Oh yeah. Rob Kardashian made money after Rob and Chyna was canceled. I am convinced. I don't have no proof, but I'm convinced his mother cut him a check. She cut him a check. And they probably made all kind of promises to him to get on the stand and make testimony like this. That's my opinion. No facts, but that's my opinion. They were all for Chyna when she was helping Rob lose weight. They have made their careers off being toxic. It's really insane. Oh yeah, they were. They were. Kris Jenner is on video saying that before he met Blac Chyna, he wouldn't even get out of bed. That she was the motivator in his life. She's literally on video saying that. This is on YouTube. You can actually pull the clip. She said before he met Chyna, he wouldn't even get out of the bed. He was in a dark room with the lights out. He wouldn't get out of bed. So Chyna came and got your son out of the bed. She stopped your son from committing suicide. I'm sorry. Hope they don't strike my video for that. She stopped your son from unaliving himself. She saved your son's life. You should have some respect for that girl. She saved your son's life. And this is not me being biased to Blac Chyna. This is actual footage that you can pull from Kris Jenner's mouth herself. She is on video saying, before Rob met Chyna, he wouldn't leave the room. He was in a dark room and he wouldn't leave the room. He would be in a room for days in a dark depression. That Blac Chyna helped him see the light. She saved your son's life. And this is how y'all repay her. Cool. The jury needs to stay focused on one thing. Did the Kardashians sabotage their show? Yes, I agree with you. Circumstances never matter. 100%. And if I'm in the jury box, I'm throwing away all of that emotional testimony. All of it is gone. I don't want to hear about, you could tell me about the fights, but that's not going to sway me. The fighting, the arguing, the drama, none of that sways me because that's actually good for the show. That's actually what the show is built on. That's exactly what y'all show is built on. And I'm in the jury box. I'm not going to put one trauma over another, one drama over another, one fight over another. No, I'm not going to do that. Y'all fight on y'all show and it's good for business. They fight on their show and all of a sudden it's detrimental to his well-being. No, it doesn't work like that. And if I'm in a jury box, I'm sorry, but I'm not buying it. I'm sticking to the facts. Were those emails sent? Yes. Did they stage a coup? Yes. Did Kris Jenner have substantial knowledge about Blac Chyna's relationship contract dealings? Yes. Did the E Network create the Instagram account for Dream Kardashian and get her verified? Watch my last live. They've been setting Chyna up since the day they met her. If anybody been set up from day one, it was Blac Chyna. When Kylie and Kim conspired to get Tyga in a relationship with an underage girl, allegedly. The plot started long before Rob and Chyna. Watch my last live. I have evidence, actual smoking gun evidence that the E Network conspired with Kris Kardashian and the Kardashians to take possession of Dream Kardashian's Instagram account. And then gonna give it back to her as a gift. They've been selling Dream Kardashian as product since the moment that little girl got into the world. She was nothing but a commodity to them. And that's why they trademarked her damn name. They are just crazy. And it really just pisses me off. The jury is not diverse at all. No, they're not. I heard it was an all-white jury. I haven't seen them myself, but that's what I heard in the streets. Ricky Sweet says, child, this case is deep and they are exposing the ish out of themselves. It's very deep. I've heard a lot of things about the judge. I actually as well as Blac Chyna's attorney. I will make the focus of my live this afternoon about that so I can do like really good research and form a good opinion about it. I don't want to I haven't done enough research on the judge yet. But I'll do that this afternoon and we'll talk about it. I'm praying Chyna wins too, girl. I am praying she wins too. Lynn needs to convince the jury that Kardashians are taking advantage. Absolutely. 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 They definitely need to convince the jury that they are taking advantage of her in every way of Sunday. And they can do it if she just asks the right questions and make them seem ridiculous as they are. The fact that she didn't make Rob get up and talk about how Chyna beat him to a pulp with a metal rod blows me to smithereens. You'd have had to put on a performance in that courtroom for me. You'd look crazy. All the little sketches would have showed Rob with a rod in his hand striking the dummy. I know that Michael Rose would have said objection, ridiculous, and I would have said no. I just want to know, you know. I've been hit with a Hot Wheel before by accident, and I got a scratch. Like I got a scratch from a Hot Wheel that cost 99 cents. Somebody beat you with a metal rod and walks away clean without a scratch or a scar. Talking about something he didn't need a Band-Aid. It's the arrogance for me. Talking about something, but you're right. No, I didn't need a Band-Aid. It's the arrogance for me. It's the arrogance for me. Like, you didn't need a Band-Aid? All right, cool. But she beat you to a pup and Kim testified that you was red and puffy. Did you need an ice pack? That would have been my next question. Wait a second. Your sister testified the other day that when you were red and really puffy, I understand you didn't need a Band-Aid, but did you need an ice pack? Did you need an ice pack? Did you? Where'd you buy the ice pack from? You got the receipt? Man, listen, if he'd have told me, yeah, I need an ice pack, I would say, well, whose ice pack did you use? One from my house. Also, you are testifying that you went to the pharmacy. Let's pull the receipts. Bank records last for 7 years. When did you go to the pharmacy? What day was it? Oh, you bought an ice pack from CVS? Chyna. Let's subpoena those bank statements from Rob Kardashian. I wanted, oh no, my security went and got it. Bank statements, everything got a matter. Any transaction you process got a matter of record, and they keep bank records for 7 years. So let's find this ice pack you bought. I can't with these people. I can't. Chyna's tax attorney claimed Chyna was upset about that suspicious signature too. I listen. I'm not above believing forgery. I'm not above believing any of it. Um, I'm not above believing any of it. I know we'll talk about Chyna's lawyer this afternoon. I don't want to get into that. We'll talk about what happened with that this afternoon. But thank you guys for checking into the live. I appreciate everybody for stopping in, for keeping it active and engaged. Please, 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 please do me a favor and like this live on the way out. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. And please turn your notification bell on, because this afternoon I will be getting into her attorney, and it will be one you don't want to miss. Talk to you guys soon and have a great day. Bye-bye.